All right, after 3 episodes, we have finally returned to Paradise City. And whoa, what a journey it took us to get back to paradise. So, welcome back to the Official Paradise Podcast. And if you haven't watched this week's episode, hit pause and go do that. It's now streaming on Disney+. And there is no one better to welcome us back to the bunker than the one and only Julianne Nicholson, better known as Sinatra, or Samantha Redmond.
Yes, exactly.
So welcome back to Paradise, and welcome back to the Official Paradise Podcast. I'm Ryan Michelle Bethay, and Julianne, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
Oh, we're so happy to have you. It's like we know we're back in Paradise because it's you. You ground us to this place in so many inexplicable ways, you know?
Thank you.
Like Paradise is in many ways like your baby.
Definitely.
Right?
Yeah, it was her creation originally, and I think she definitely feels ownership of it in that way. So yeah, and I mean, she made her presence known in the first season. So nice to be back. Nice that she can wake up from that coma.
Because she was in a coma.
She was in a coma
for quite some time.
Yeah.
Mrs. Redmond, can you hear me?
Only Sinatra could wake up from a coma and be like, I've seen the light.
No.
I'm gonna be good from now on, everybody. This is not visited by 3 ghosts, right?
No, you're right. Yes.
You were up and you're like, as soon as I get back to my strength, everybody's going down.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it feels like.
Yeah, well, I think there is a vulnerability there when she wakes up because she's been, she was very close to death and things happening that she did not plan for. And it's also, like playing it was a fine line because I think we said that she was out for like, I want to say a month or 6 weeks. So it's like, okay, she hasn't spoken for this long. Like, what does that actually look like in real life? But also we're making a TV show, so we still need her to speak and like have energy and all of this. So it was like trying to walk that line where we honor that she's been in a coma for this amount of time, but where she can also still be like a functioning character in the show. I found that really challenging, in fact.
Really?
Yeah. And there's a walk that I do when Gabriella's like, Baines wants to interview you. And that walk is like the most challenging scene of the whole 2 seasons for me.
Really?
I got so upset, Ryan, about like, Ken Olin I'm obsessed with. He directed those 2 episodes. I loved him so much. And I love how irreverent he is. And it is about like the energy and pacing and finding new ways in, which was great, but I just really struggled with finding like where she's just come from and where she is now. I found that really challenging.
Why? Because she had been...
Because it's like, what is it like if you've been in a coma, not speaking, laid out on a hospital bed, like, and now she's supposed to be like walking down the hall, like having a chat with a cane. Like, it was just sort of trying, like I said, to honor the actual experience of what that would be, but like, that's impossible because that's not a TV show. Like, we can't have her just like, on the bed because no one's tuning in for that.
Right. But don't you think that's so fascinating about being an actor is that you actually have to serve 2 masters?
Definitely.
Right?
Yes. Well, I had an acting teacher once say to me, like, you can, because it was always about like getting to the truth, your truth, all this, like your truth can also be really boring. And we're making a TV show, like we're not here for boring. So it's like you can bring your truth, but you also, it's not just that. Like there's other things
Can you
going
say
on.
that? Well, I feel like you've just unlocked something for me, and I think there are many actors that need to like can benefit. So can you say that one more time?
Well, it's like your truth can also be boring. Like maybe it's true for you, but maybe I don't care. Maybe that's not interesting. Maybe that's not serving the story. And it's like you have to give over to like, there are other powers at play than just you like getting to your truth. So I now usually don't ever ask for another take. If the director feels like they've got it, I trust that they've got it. I mean, every now and again, I'll be like, okay, maybe there's something else I want to try. But for the most part, it's like, it's not just me. I've realized more and more, even with this show, especially like how much the editing and the music serve this storyline so much. Dan always wanted me, when we're doing different scenes, to play the scene differently, try to do it differently every time. And then they craft the performance in the edit. Maybe there's one where she's upset. Maybe there's one where she's furious. Maybe one where she's holding everything in. And then that you give them everything you can to play with and then trust that the editors will put it all together.
Does that give you a sense of freedom? I mean, it sounds like
It gives
would
me
be
a sense of freedom because I don't have to know the answer. I don't have to know the correct way, the right way. It's like, that's out of my hands, actually. I just give them versions, my versions, and then they can pick what they want.
What is the sauce that has crafted this Sinatra that we've come to know as Sinatra? Because I feel like who we know now is not who we met. Like, there's so many colors to her. How did we get this special character?
I think so much of it was in episode 2 of the first season called Sinatra, which was like her backstory. It's a great character.
Yeah.
Like, he's written a great character, a complicated character with so many dimensions, who's not looking to be liked. She's like her own woman. And then I learned so much in the first season, playing her and then watching her. I learned so much from watching the show, actually, which I wasn't planning on doing.
Okay.
But then we went to Paris for like the premiere.
Yes, I
which
remember
was
the Paris
so
premiere.
so exciting, so
know.
fancy. I mean, I was like, I never had that before. I was like, oh my God, so fun. I brought my husband. It was awesome. And I watched episode 4, which was Billy Pace's episode. And I was like, shit, Dan, this is really good. Now I'm gonna have to watch the show. And then I did, and it just knocked me out every season. But I learned so much by watching the show, which I do less and less these days. I'm less interested in watching myself.
So that makes me, because I have, the reason why I'm stammering is because I have so many thoughts going in my head. The first thought is, I don't like to watch myself either, because I feel like I can't ever do it again. So if all I can see is something that I would do over, I'll never be able to do it over.
Yeah.
And it won't be like a general acting thing. It'll be specific to that character, and then it'll just be stuck in my head, right?
Yeah.
But I can imagine that watching season 1 does inform where you're gonna start with even though we start in a coma.
Yeah.
But even though, it has to then inform because they're connected.
Yeah.
And I would imagine that it does give you some information.
Yeah, I
as an
understood
actor.
her story in a different way, watching it as opposed to just living it.
Especially because she knows so much more than every other character.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
so you probably have to watch just so you know what's going on the show. And for no other reason, if some little French man asks you a question, you're
Yes.
like, I didn't actually watch it.
Yeah.
Right. So let's go back to that scene, because what you're saying is so interesting, because I feel like who we saw sit down, get strapped into the lie detector test is a very different person than who gets up from that chair.
Yeah.
And I feel like in that moment, I was like, something happens in that scene that brings you back.
She's not holding herself so tightly anymore. I mean, she still has the control. She still wants everything to go the way she wants it to go. But there's just a little bit more of a like, fuck it.
Very much so. And Baines, who was the vice president, is now the current president. And he's a mighty little man.
Yes.
Who thinks that his might is bigger than his might actually is.
Who's always been like a little flea to her a little bit, and who she's controlled and like got him the position.
Oh,
and
for sure. And so now he's the one that thinks he's in
He's
charge.
calling the shot.
Do not underestimate me, Samantha. I am in charge now.
It's so fascinating to me because at the beginning of that scene, he is calling the shot.
Yeah.
By the time it's all over, he's given away all of his power.
I just don't have any good answers for you. I really just need time to rest.
Enough! Just stop with the bullshit! Get her out of here. Take her home. Put armed guards at the door.
That man needs a breath mint.
What a terrible thing to say to a president.
I know.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
like whether you meant it or not, like, to say it out loud, I was like, she's talking about the president.
Yeah, she doesn't care. No Fs.
No
given.
F's given, sorry.
It's one of the great things about the show, I think, is like when you go back on second viewing, there's always so much there that you won't know until you watch it a second time. I felt like with the first season also. You
Yeah.
go back, you're like, oh, that's what they meant.
Yeah.
That's coming.
And there's this moment where you're at the conference.
Yeah.
There's only one thing that can fix this. And it's the one thing even you can't buy.
And what is that?
Time.
it feels like at the end.
That's like jumping off point, as you
Yeah.
say. And even though that technically would have happened in season 1, like we're not told the rest of that story in that moment.
You talk about the mind of Dan, and you're just like, I don't even know if he understands all. I mean, it's almost like some things I wonder how many things are surprises to him.
I know.
You know what I mean?
I think aloud. It feels like, there's also room for discovery. There's also room for like, what is gonna happen? Which is kind of incredible. Because no one knows.
No one knows. I feel like you might know something. I ask everybody, I was like, what do you know? What do you know that you can tell us?
Nothing.
You don't know anything?
Nothing.
Not even a little bit?
Not even, there's like one idea that Dan like mentioned maybe, but it's like nothing, it's basically the jumping off point, but like, I know nothing. I feel like, okay, well, I don't know.
Well, I surely don't know anything, and that's by design,
Right,
because they don't want
yes.
me to know anything.
Right.
What are your strongest, maybe not your favorite part, but what are your strong feelings about playing Sinatra when you slip into her, like, drop in?
Yeah, I love her. I think she's a fascinating character. I was just thinking about, when you said favorite, actually, I love the relationship that develops between Sinatra and X. And I loved working with Sterling.
I had 2 children, and I lost one of them. Trust me, Agent Collins, that is something you never get over.
I found that relationship to be very moving, and so working with him, I felt like allowed me actually to go deeper in scenes and the character, and it was like a real gift. Like something just, like something landed when he and I were in scenes together, for me anyway. And so I would learn more about her and what she shared with him and how she shared it. Which was really beautiful, because it wasn't a relationship I didn't know what was going to happen, when we started working together. And it's fun to have the opportunity to feel those things deepen.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
I'll tell if you said.
Yeah.
Well, so much of your character is defined by loss. Even at the beginning when we first meet you, I know you give your company over, so I guess it's not a loss, but there's still a loss, because you're like, yes, I've gained many, many millions of dollars, and I'll never have to work again.
Yeah.
Right? And then of course you find something, and then of course you lose your son. And even in this episode, you lose, I don't think we realize just how close, we don't know that you and Gabriella are as close as you are. We know that you guys have this very powerful dynamic between therapist, and she sort of saves your life.
I brought you this.
We don't know until 203 that you guys are like,
Tight.
y'all are besties.
Love each other.
You love each other.
Yeah, I know.
And you
So
lose your
sad she
best.
leaves me.
She leaves
I
you.
know, it's so sad. Sarah is so talented. I mean, her like access to just like, I don't know, telling a story on camera is so beautiful. We had to do that a few times, and she kind of broke my heart every time listening to her. Her grief and having to leave Sinatra was really moving.
It was palpable.
Yeah, I feel that with her. That's another friendship that who knew? We're not the same, necessarily types of people. We're not necessarily the same types of actors and our characters, but like, we just were like, whoom. And it was so easy to be with her in a scene, and same thing, we always just like went straight to it. Such a gift.
I love that.
Me too, so beautiful.
We love the scenes between you guys, because and we don't get a lot, because we get a lot of this.
Yeah.
But we do get the one where you're sitting on the couch.
Yeah.
And she's like, this is not how, and you're like, no, and it just comes pouring out.
Yeah.
And then we get the breakup,
Yeah.
Scene between you guys, which is just heartbreaking,
Yep.
Like, I'm like, how many more people do you have to lose?
I know. Well.
Like, what you gonna do? It's Sinatra. Is there ever a moment, because when you come out of the coma, like I said, it's not a 180, it's more like a 70-degree shift. We see her recovering. I wonder, is there a moment where Sinatra may have thought, I could just do this?
No, I don't think she had the. I mean, there wasn't even a moment to have the thought. I don't think, because she's there, and then immediately Gabriella's there. I mean, she opens her eyes, and Jane is right there, being like, "What happened? Whatever you remember, wasn't me." It's like, okay, well, we'll get back to that. But
that is my second favorite scene in the entire season 1 and 2 was when you deadpan and you're like, I don't remember what happened.
You don't remember anything. Really?
I really don't, Jane. Turns out severe physical trauma really fucks with your brain. Why don't you tell me what happened?
That was Ken. That was Ken's direction in that scene. Yeah,
Really? Oh, tell me more.
I can't remember exactly, but we did it. Nicole and I did it, and it was kind of just like, meh. We just did the scene, and then he just reminded us. He's like, he got us to the place where he's like, this is a cat and mouse game. You both know what you know, but you're not gonna let the other person know anything that you know. And then it just it was so fun to do that scene because it was all like, it was just a little extra. It wasn't just like the words on the page. And we loved doing that scene together. It was so fun. And that was really some great direction from Ken to sort of just kick it up a little bit. Because sometimes you don't want to go over. You don't want to be like, too villain, ha, 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 mustache twirling.
No, I know.
But then you trust a good director, and it's like, okay, we'll try it like that. And it was so fun. We're like, hallelujah. It got so much better.
It was.
I'm so glad you liked it, responded to it.
Dude, it was extraordinary.
Cool,
because
thank
even
you.
I was like, there's a part of me that's like, maybe she's telling the truth, but it's Sinatra, so we don't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was riveted.
Thank you.
Again, I had the feet going. I was like, ooh.
It was fun.
And I was like, there's some dirty ladies.
Yeah.
Well, on the dirty ladies note, I will say thank you so much for being here. You are deliciously dirty and deliciously devious and just all around delicious. So thank you for being here. And thank you for being our Sinatra and properly reintroducing us to this season and grounding us back in our bunker that we love to hate our bunker and we love to hate Sinatra. And good luck to you.
Thank you so much.
And to Sinatra as you take on the rest of this incredible season. And we got so much in store, and I can't wait to talk to you about all of it.
Yes.
So thank you again.
Thank
we
you.
so appreciate you being here.
So I've been told that you have experience with this type of thing, mostly overseas. So I'm not sure how frequently
You need to calm the fuck down, or I'm walking away.
Sorry.
I can't even tell you guys how excited I am because this is truly, I have so much inside knowledge on this incredible actor sitting here with me. He happens to be my husband's on-set crush and my husband's crush. And I think you've replaced both Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise in that department. So these are high compliments here. The season 1, just out the park, stand out. Like, where has he been? Who's this guy? How come he's not on, everybody's lips, which you should be now. And he's back with us here in episode 3 of season 2. Suscribirse, thank you for being here. Thank you. You play Agent Billy Pace, who's gone,
I
but
know.
we now know we're
Not forgotten.
not forgotten,
Right.
And we now know with this universe anything can happen. So we
That's
don't have
the
to say
thing,
bye-bye, right?
That's the thing.
That's
You're
the
never
thing.
dead in a Dan Fogelman show.
Yeah, you're
That's
never
what they
dead in a
tell
Dan
me.
Fogelman
That's what
show.
they
Can we
tell
put that
me.
on a T-shirt? Welcome to this podcast.
It is such an honor.
Can I tell you, I want to give my confessions just when I thought I said all I can say. But I do have a confession.
I would love to hear your confessions.
It's like you are, for Sterling, one of those people that you meet sort of later in life and you're like, oh, I've been waiting for you. Thanks for showing up.
Man.
So thanks for showing up.
I don't know if you could make my heart grow any more sizes.
Aw, but it's
That is
true.
really special. I mean, first of all, while we're getting our confessions out,
Okay.
To be sitting across from the Ryan Michelle Bathat
Oh.
after loving your work as an actor and then just absolutely deep diving into you and Sterling's podcast, We Don't Always Agree, which my wife and I have listened to extensively and just adore you guys. And I've been a huge fan of that guy for a long time and then found out I was going to get to work with him. And so
What was that moment like when they said, Was it an agent or a manager that called you?
Dan called me.
No way.
Man, the whole story, I'm sure you've heard, because Dan has told it a lot, which is very flattering. And me getting invited to be on this show is completely bizarre. The short version of it is that, like, Dan saw me on a tape real early in the casting process. I didn't know anybody. I mean, you know how it is. I'm in the stack. Right?
Yeah.
And he said, I want to see that guy again. And by speeding forward in the process, there were a lot of, like, notable actors circling this role because it's awesome and it's him. And we were having the third round of interviews or whatever, and I came in and I read with Nicole and a couple other actors who were reading for Jane, and he held me back afterwards and was like, I need you to read another scene. And he told me that he had done that because there were actors circling the role, and he said, listen, I think you're the guy, but I got to sell Hulu and everybody else, you know? And so he took that tape and apparently showed it around and shoved it down everybody's face and said, like, no, not the famous guy, this guy.
Yeah.
And then so I went home, and it was, I think, a day, 2 days maybe. And then my phone lit up. And you know how your phones now, I don't know how they're doing this, but it'll tell you the name of the person. It's not in your, it's not a saved name.
Yeah.
They'll straight up tell you, right? Said Dan Fogel.
I would have, I'm sorry.
Right? And I picked it up, and I was, just being cool. hey, Mr. Maybe I said hello. Maybe I act like my phone didn't.
Like, hello?
This is John.
Right.
And he's, hey, thank you so much for going through all that. And he said his wife, who obviously is a lovely actor as well, that she'd gotten angry with him for making me do the extra scenes. It was like a terrible position to put an actor in. I was like, sir, I was just grateful you kept me around. And he said, anyway, everybody's on board. And first he said, I showed the tape to Sterling K. Brown. And Sterling said, that guy's a beast. And it was at that moment that I died.
Oh, I'm talking to your ghost.
And this has all been a dream.
Right.
I died, and it's all been a dream. It was special. And he said, we want you to do it. And I finished the call out cool as a cucumber, man. Oh, well, I'm so grateful, sir. And, your writing is a big fan, blah, blah, blah. And my wife has it on camera. And then I just I was in the bathroom. I opened the bathroom door. She was standing there. She had the camera. And I just screamed at the top of my lungs like a primal hunter on a mammoth trail. Because, wow.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I got to come in and start work. And then I meet your husband, and he's there. And then there's that thing that happens that's magic when you're dealing with someone like Sterling, which is rare, but you're watching an incredible talent. And I know you know the other side of it, and he's a human being, and I'm sure you've already told us all the tea, so I'm not trying to deify the man, but he's an incredible talent. And then instantly, very early, I'm like, oh, it's my friend. I'm going to look up to him for the rest of my life. But there's, and everyone feels this way, I think, around your husband. He's disarming, and he's so personable and so real. And as an executive producer, he makes sure that the set is a place where people can come be their full selves. And he's inviting your best out of you. And he's athletic. And he's like,
he's very athletic.
Yeah, he's very athletic. But he's instantly also just, he's a student of this game still while being a master. And
which is, I think, the secret of any game is to always be a student, always be a master. Which I have to ask, because you've painted this picture so beautifully, and I'm enraptured of this magical moment, which then, in a weird way, is echoed in 203. Yeah. He asks you, he looks at Billy and he says, do you think you're here for a reason?
Right.
I asked you before if you think that things happen for a reason. Do you think that you're here by random happenstance, or are you here because you are supposed to be here with Alex and me?
Like, that had to have been, as an actor and a character, like, kind of like a meta kind of moment, because Billy is not someone who we think of as a deeply spiritual person, but when we see who he becomes in the person that we fall in love with in season 1, as a fan, I feel like the seed of that is planted in that moment.
Yeah. Wow. this is cool. This podcast is cool. People should listen to this.
Oh, I hope they do. Thank you.
It's so wild to go back, having seen that man, and we're watching it not chronologically, right? Because we're watching it with Dan. This was a character that when I was trying to find him, you realize, oh, it's layers, right? And we're going to start with some of the internal layers. We're going to start under some of the armor, and we're going to meet a guy who's been a little bit unlocked by the friendship and the integrity of Xavier Collins and the integrity and charisma and X factor of Sterling K. Brown, because it is this show. And so I'm finding and he's inviting it, obviously. He's doing it tactically, but he's doing it so genuinely. He's inviting a friendship. We have to have a best friend energy.
Bond.
Right,
for sure.
early, right? And so you meet Billy with heart open.
Very much so.
Right? And then you learn, oh, it hasn't been like that for very long. Like, Billy's still exploring heart open. Heart's been closed since 13, 14, earlier, 7, 8 weeks.
Yeah,
ago.
you were, yeah.
Right? And so it's a wild thing to go, okay, here's the gooey core. Now let's put the armor back on. But 104, you see him armor on. You see him in murder mode. And then you see that there's been moments that he's had to go back to that energy, and he's carrying guilt for that. And he's split in half, right? And to learn the way we did, that this is a guy who kept a secret that's unforgivable, right? He kept from Xavier the knowledge that his wife might still be alive. He kept from the kids that he called himself an uncle to the knowledge that there's a chance, he didn't know for sure, but there's a chance, because there's people up there, that your mother's not dead. But I can't tell you how I know that, because when I found that out, I, almost the way an addict relapses, I went back to my old life to find that out, right? And I can't show you that, so I'm gonna play pretend and stay here in this safe place that I can't give up. I love you so much, I can't tell you the truth. I mean, what a pickle. Do you know what I mean? And it's the stakes that high, I don't know that too many people can relate to, although I'm sorry you're going through it if you're hiding a murder. But we meet Billy again in 203, way back in murder mode.
Yeah, he's a cutie. Really makes you think.
There's something special that she has with you. And we see it when we're on that park bench.
That's very sweet of you to
because
say.
she's not in killer mode.
No.
Right?
Right.
And we see her almost defer to you.
Yeah.
It's the first time we see
Isn't that
you
great
realize
writing?
that?
It's great writing.
It's the first time we see her. We don't see her defer to her husband.
Right.
The only time we see her on her back foot is that moment with you, and you're teaching her how to be the Sinatra we come to.
Yeah, I'm dancing with Julianne for a second time now, and I'm leading. Right?
Yes, you are.
And so,
you are.
Right. And so Sinatra has not yet found her
She's not yet
murderous
Sinatra.
edge, right? And so we get to watch them in the exact opposite roles that we last saw them, and what beautiful symmetry. And then to meet that partner who I am in awe of, I really am. She's an incredible actor, like a true powerhouse. And as you say, so easy on her feet. And our relationship is so easy. But I think I was learning these lessons and feeling this permission from your husband, and then taking it in and meeting these people and going, okay, how do we dance,
Yeah,
And to get to reverse those roles, dip her, it's cool. And it plays really well. And
We
it's
would
so
be
exciting
remiss
to be
if we
part
did
of.
not mention your other dance partner.
Oh, Patrick Fisher.
Patrick. So take us with you as John, but also Billy in that moment.
The scene at the bar, I get to sit down for what is like, I'm seducing this guy into some sort of intimacy, so I can say to him, look, you want to sign this thing, man, because you don't want the other way that this can go, right?
Just sign.
When you look at it, you're convinced that he signed it. We're all convinced that he signs it.
Right.
And then it gives you the contract, and it's the address.
Right.
Where you're like, Oh, WTF.
Yeah.
Because this is not common for you. You probably either get the guy who grovels, please, please, please,
Right.
and is kind of cowardly about
Right.
it, or the guy who's like, "Shh, I don't care, and signs it, and is kind of cowardly about
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
You never meet the hero.
No, and you don't meet a man who seems to be in touch with his destiny to the point where
Come on, come
he's
on,
going,
come
you know
on,
what I
come
mean?
on.
He's going to somewhat pleasantly and with a sense of grace let you follow him into his bedroom with a gun, and then he's going to introduce you to his wife. He's going to take her life right in front of you while he kisses her on the forehead and tells you how deep their love was. And then he's going to walk over to you and say, do you think you're supposed to be here? And then he's going to hand you a Kleenex. That's a lot to process.
That's a lot to
right?
process.
This is not how this usually goes for Billy.
No, it is
right?
not.
He takes the Kleenex, he shoots the man in the head, and then he walks out into the living room. But the last thing the guy said to him is, when you meet the boy, let him go. I don't know what he's talking about, right?
Right.
And I get out to the living room and I recognize, oh, this figure who he almost instinctually shoots
Of
just
course.
point blank is the boy. And that scene was incredible because there's not much on the page, right?
No,
But I'm
no.
realizing, oh, the thoughts go like this. The man I just killed told me not to kill the boy, but I'm supposed to kill everybody. But that look in his eye and the way he took his wife's life,
Right.
okay, maybe I won't do it. Hang on, my nose is bleeding. I have a Kleenex in my hand. I don't have time for this shit.
This project is over, and those people in there are gone. So you need to run. Far away as you can. And remember, I know it might not seem like it right now, but this was the luckiest day of your fucking life.
And I leave, and in so doing, of course, I butterfly effect alter the course of how many lives?
Human history.
Who knows? Who knows?
There's no way.
Who is Alex?
Thank you so much for joining us here on this podcast
What
that we're
an
getting off
honor.
the ground.
What an honor.
Thank you.
I'm here as a guest, and I'm also your fan.
Oh, come on. Come on with the button on the
It's true, though.
episode.
It's true, though.
I love it. I love it. I love it. You're the best.
I adore you.
Thank you.
Everybody, can I please get your attention? Whoever wrote that up there is right. They are lying to us.
Okay, everybody, and welcome back to Hulu's Official Paradise podcast. And this has been a really great episode so far, but it's gonna get even better because we've got Charlie Evans and Aaliyah Master with me who play Cal's son, Jeremy, and Xavier's daughter, Presley, otherwise known as Prayer Meat. How are we feeling about prayer meat? No? Okay, I'll keep workshopping. And specifically, we're talking about episode 203, where Presley watches Jeremy. He's like getting arrested, and it's just very, ooh, my boyfriend getting arrested and shucked into a secret prison because he's just so, dangerous. And I have a feeling these two aren't gonna just sit by and watch all this happen because you guys never like to do what you have been told to do, especially you, Miss Ma'am. I'm like, girl, if you don't sit down somewhere.
Yeah.
How did you guys find your way to this world? Let's go all the way back.
So I was in my freshman year of school, second semester, and the audition came through.
And I have to ask, because you look very young, high school or college?
College.
Okay, see,
Yes.
I have to ask. Everyone was wondering, like, a girl.
Thank you for asking.
Yes. Yes, my freshman year of college, and I believe the strike had just ended, so I hadn't gotten many auditions. And then Paradise came through, but it was an untitled Dan Fogelman project, and Sterling K. Brown was attached. And I've always seen myself as someone that could play Sterling K. Brown's daughter. And so I immediately, when I saw it, I was like, okay, don't get it too attached to it, just let it whatever it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. And I remember I filmed my audition in my dorm room. I'm pretty sure you could see like the bunk bed in the corner of the frame. It's the best I could do at the time. I'm pretty sure my roommates were like laughing in the other room. I was told that they were going younger. So I was like, okay, you know, it's fine. And,
I'm not too attached. Practice detachment.
and they reached back out. And then I had to withdraw from my classes and move all of my stuff out of my dorm. And then I was on a flight to LA.
And here we all are.
Yeah.
And here we all are.
Now, you guys knew that this love interest was going to be budding before you even got the job. I mean, it was part of your audition process, right?
Yeah.
So how does it build between you two? We see it as an audience, but how does it build between you two over the course of season 1?
I think from an audience perspective, the option of their romance is always there. Like if you can connect the dots of like, oh, well, he lost his dad, she lost her mom.
Mm-hmm. And yet they have something
so much
vital in common,
exactly.
right?
Yeah.
And what do you think by the time season 2 starts, you guys are a thing?
I honestly maybe think just because of what they've been through, you know, there was tons of loss. And I think maybe I sort of learning from that, you know, when you have someone, you kind of want to just hold on to that person, especially when the stakes are high. Because, you know, when he goes to jail, I'm like, all right, like, this is my man, I'm sticking beside him, you know? And so, but yeah, just back to like what they've experienced before and losing people, which is something everyone in the bunker had experienced. I think maybe it's a thing of like the people yearn for community, the people, you know, yearn for love. And maybe that's where it stems from.
So before you even got these jobs, were you at all into post-apocalyptic worlds, TV shows, fiction? Was any of that like percolating in your world before?
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
It's definitely my favorite genre.
Really?
Yeah, for sure. I love Handmaid's Tale. I just read, I'm not sure if you're familiar, but Sterling told me you're a reader, but Parable of the Sower by Octavia E. Butler. That's another.
Come on, girl. Come on.
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
Yeah,
I read
so
that in like 7 days.
I'm in that, yeah.
I mean, both of you guys, your characters have the weight of the world on your I mean, literally, the weight of the world on your shoulders. I mean, even if it's misguided in a way, it's like, you know, you have been given by your dad this mission. I mean, he literally gave that to you, you know, should you choose to accept it. And you have to give your he would never have gone. So you have to mature light years ahead of what you probably should ever be expected to. Do you think there is a world where if none of this happened, you guys would have had a love that would have found each other?
What do you think?
I don't know.
I think we find each other.
Maybe not as quick.
Definitely not as quick. I think we find each other, but sort of how Cal was with his father, this very strict life path. And, you know, he wanted to be a teacher, he wanted to be with Robinson, like all of these really specific things that was so much more who he was that he had to
couldn't really do.
Block out, put blinders on and just do what he had to do because societal pressure, you know, very real, still here society. So I think that potentially is the most realistic pathway. We would have found each other and tried, but then just right person, wrong time.
Oh. What about you? Give me a better.
Yeah,
that's a
maybe more hopeful. Sorry.
Honestly, could have said it better. Yeah, I think maybe we would have found each other, just not as quick. I think it would have taken time for sure.
Maybe a second marriage.
He's got to find himself.
Yeah. Twice divorce is great.
Exactly. Exactly. That's the eat, pray, love version.
Yes.
Of
Yeah.
y'all's relationship.
That's a different show.
Well, I like that. That I can live with.
Okay,
I can live with.
Let's go with that.
Yeah. My little romantic self is now happy again. Anyway, I thank you guys both. You could have been anywhere just like dazzling the world, but you dazzled our podcast. So thank you for dazzling us. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
I'm rooting, obviously, for your characters. And if anybody in the writer's room breaks you guys up, I'm coming for you. I will take you out. I will rip you limb from freaking limb. Okay? And keep up your incredible work. And we'll hopefully, we'll see you guys around. Thank you. Paradise, the official podcast, is now streaming.
And stream Paradise on Disney+.